we've been talking about people pleasers. Are you a people pleaser? Joining us is psychiatrist. Don't say no, because you're going to take this quiz and we're going to find out. Dr. Sue Varma, and a member of the Tam Fam, who made a people pleaser quiz. We are all going to take it together right now. You at home, you can follow us as well. Her book is Practical Optimism. It gives readers a realistic roadmap to live their best lives, because guess what? That's what we all deserve. We deserve to live our best lives. And Dr. Sue Varma, my friend, is here. Okay. All right. So the reason why, so the applause was a little soft because everybody's getting their quiz in their hand. So you're going to be able to choose either A, B, or C for the ones that apply to you the most. Got a notepad in your hand? Got it ready? At home, you can keep track. I'm also going to put this up on social media, so you'll be able to follow this quiz. So before we start, Sue, are you a people pleaser?
I am, and I'm recovering. I'm trying, Tamron, yes.
Why do we need to recover from it? Why is it a bad thing?
You know, it's a bad thing because what's happening is you are putting your own needs second, and you're saying that everyone else in the world comes first.
Okay.
And you're also trying to seek people's approval, and that can be a bad thing.
All right, let's get to the quiz, though.
Yes.
They put the quiz questions up on the board just to show you our fancy new set. I'm not crazy why they did this. All right, you got your pen, you got your paper. Don't be afraid to use it. Do you always say yes to any event because of FOMO, fear of missing out? Yes, I feel like I'll miss out. B, occasionally I consider if it's worth my time. No, I prioritize. Why is this a people-pleasing question?
Because it's all about this idea that there's something happening in the world that like people are expecting you to be a part of, and you're letting people down by not being a part of it without even thinking whether or not it's worth your time.
Okay, I got my answer in my head. By the way, I've not seen these questions either, so we're doing this together. All right, the next one. Do you worry about disappointing others at your own expense? A, yes, I feel like I'm letting people down. B, sometimes I try to focus on my own needs. C, no, I try to put myself first. I would say my answer to that is A. I feel like the feeling of letting people down it's from childhood.
It's so interesting because, you know, a lot of us felt like we had to keep the peace at home, right? That we didn't want people to fight. Maybe we were the middle child. Maybe there was always bickering going on, but we felt like I'm going to be the peacekeeper, and that's kind of a problem.
Which is so interesting because I was the non-peacekeeper at home. I was a rebel. I was the kid always getting into something, but I, on the other hand, feared letting people down. I never wanted to let my parents down.
But you know, Cameron, that's very interesting. A lot of us outside the house do that, and then we come home, we feel safe, and we can let our guard down and test boundaries and be rebellious.
That's interesting. Okay, do you find it hard to say no even when you don't have the time, energy, or money? Yes, it is difficult for me to say no occasionally, but I'm getting better. No, I'm comfortable setting boundaries. I'm A on this one. I have a hard, you're C? See? Okay.
Good for you all.
Oh my gosh. Okay, keep track of where you are. Now, do you often avoid conflict? Yes, I hate confrontation sometimes, but I try to express myself. No, I'm comfortable. I am a hard C. I'm a hard C on this.
I'm surprised because, Tamron, you know, when I look at you, I'm like, this woman's got her stuff together, and this is what we need, right, to be like good enough professional lives. But here's the thing, with people pleasing, sometimes we're people pleasers at home, but not outside, or at work and not at home. So it can be very situational dependent.
Okay, so I'm comfortable with confrontation, but the others, I am clearly a people pleaser. Real quick, okay, do you find yourself apologizing frequently, even for things that aren't your fault? Listen, I know a lot of you probably start, hey, I'm so sorry. Can I get that? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yes.
And yes, I apologize to the furniture if I bump into it. Occasionally, it feels like it's required. No, unless it's 100% my fault. I'm an occasional, but I see people all day long who literally apologize for everything.
Yes. And Tamron, there's a difference between being kind and being nice, right? When you're being kind, you're thinking about what's best for this person, but when you're not being nice, you're just consumed with how do they perceive me. So it's a difference. Are you thinking about yourself? I want to dig into that.
Coming up, we're going to count the numbers. We're going to find out who in our audience is a people pleaser. And I want to break down what is the true difference between being kind and nice. I struggle with that. The quiz is online. Go to our social media. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So here's the deal. Before the break, Dr. Sue Varma put us all to the test, walking us through her Am I a People Pleaser quiz. We got members of the Tam Fam. Our audience took the quiz as well, and we have the results here. Okay, so first up, if you got mostly A's, say I have an A. Okay. The A's are represented by Madeline, 47-year-old from Dover, New Jersey. So if you had mostly A's and I had mostly A's, that we are peak people pleasers.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Peak people pleasers are constantly ruminating about what the other person wants, what's going to look good, how am I going to fit in, how do I not lose friends? But they're really not putting their own agenda and priorities aside. So I can see that a lot of times, like, look, we want to fit in, we want people to like us, but what are your values, what are your priorities? Because at the end of the day, you're going to end up resenting all of these people that you're making these sacrifices for, and it's going to destroy relationships.
Does it make sense that you're a peak people pleaser? I can't even say that over and over.
Say that 3 times fast.
Triple P.
It makes sense. I'm a mental health clinician, so I'm in the helping field. So I'm always constantly on call or making sure that everybody's okay.
Are you picking up people at 1 a.m. from the club?
Well,
like
you know, not like the other guests that we have.
Well, give me an example of something that you do and you're like, oh gosh, I wish.
Well, I can have a colleague come up to me and say, hey, can you pick up this client? You know, I can't right now or so forth. And my caseload might be packed, right? I'm like up to here, and I can say inside, I'm like, no, don't do it.
But you'll do it.
And I'll say, okay, fine. But then I'm, you know, not having my lunch breaks or we're doing paperwork late at night, and I'm just like exhausted.
How do you cure this one?
Yes. So one thing that's non-negotiable for me is a lunch break. And I always say, no one's ever going to knock on your door and say, hey, let's go grab lunch, or you need to take a break. So that 15-minute break, right? Like, it's an investment. Self-care is not selfish. If I have a meal, my glucose level is going to be sharp. I'm going to be on point with people. We know the term hangry, right?
Yeah.
Hungry and angry. I get very angry when I'm hungry. So take care of that belly, because that belly's going to take care of your mind.
Exactly right. You're right.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay, our next Tam Fam member, Jay, 31 from New York City. She got mostly B's. Are the B's in the house? Okay, that looks like almost half the audience. That means you are boundary benders. What does that mean?
Okay, so there's this term that I love. It says hedges, not walls, right? So what we want to do is be able to have flexible boundaries, be like a ninja. You want to be like nimble and be able to be like, what's the situation call for? Do I need to people please? Okay, occasionally I want to make somebody happy, but not at the expense of my own sanity, happiness, well-being, sleep, money, time, energy, all of that.
Did you know you were a boundary bender?
I didn't know there was a term, but it makes sense.
Give me an example where it makes sense.
So I had someone that I knew through an ex, and she had visited me from California to New York. I offered my apartment. She brought a friend along who I also knew, and I offered my bedroom for her and her friend to stay in. I had just started dating someone, and I said, hey, we're going to sleep on the couch. But her friend had stepped in and said, I don't think she wants to offer that. And that took me back and realized, why am I offering this?
Why are you offering your bedroom?
I know. I thought it was a nice thing to do.
Listen over here. So, but that's again, she's trying to be flexible, but it comes at her expense.
Yes, and there's this idea of like competing agendas. And I always say to people, when you're feeling conflict, it's because you want both things to be true, but at the same time, one has to win a little bit. So if you're like, I want you to be happy, but you know what? I need to be comfortable. I have to work the next day. I call it the sandwich technique. Tell the person, I love having you here. Thank you so much for visiting me. At the same time, I need my sleep, or you can't do this anymore, and I love you. Thank you so much for having me. Right? So the nice stuff, stick it to them, and then
All right. Okay, last but not least here, where are my C's in the house? Okay. The C's are pretty much the bosses of the room. Dinetta is 66. A C is true to yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is my boss, clearly. I've never met okay, so why are C's getting it right? And can you be too firm?
Yes. So yes, you can be. Yes, she says, first of all, I want to take a page out of your book.
She's amazing.
Because it takes us our whole lives for some of us, and some of us never get it right to be able to establish boundaries. But I do think that you have to be flexible when to have those boundaries and who it's with and what the situation. So for me, I love what you're doing, but I would say a little bit case by case basis. See who you're dealing with, and can you give them a little kindness? And that's where the kindness versus nice comes in. Because the kindness is, I got your back, I'm looking out for your best interest, but nice is about, I want you to think of me in the best light possible.
Oh, so you know the line.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, ma'am.
Always?
Always.
Your whole life?
No.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Are you recovering too? Were you?
Yes. Oh, yes. I was a people pleaser to the max. I was the fat kid. And I was bullied and I was teased. So I thought if I wanted to be liked, I wanted to be loved, I wanted to be a part of. So I tried to buy friends. I tried to do whatever anybody wanted, I did it. I got into a relationship that was the same thing. On my job, I was the one that everybody ran to.
Right.
And I found out that everybody got what they wanted. And the only thing I got was exhausted and unappreciated.
Donetta is a whole segment now.
We gotta bring her back.
So you got exhausted, you didn't feel appreciated, you said enough is enough.
No, my Capricorn kicked in.
Donetta's Capricorn
My
kicked in.
Capricorn kicked in.
And you said...
And I climbed the top of that mountain and I've been standing on it ever since. Your happiness